Misinformation and disinformation are eroding public trust in science and making it even more difficult to confront big societal changes. At this year's Nobel Prize Summit, hosted by the National Academy of Sciences, experts gathered for a global conversation on how to counter misinformation and communicate about science effectively. We talked with three of those experts to get their ideas.
When people think about complex social problems like disinformation, everyone wants a magic bullet, right? And one of the things that we think about a lot in problems like democracy is the idea that we're working on problems for which there are not formulaic answers, right? So I am never going to develop a vaccine for disinformation, right? I can't give you a pill to make you more tolerant. And so in the absence of those kinds of formulaic solutions, what can we do?
There's been a tendency to think about misinformation, disinformation, and trust from a reactive standpoint. Instead of thinking, there actually are presuppositions that we can reinforce about why we're trustworthy, why science is in general trustworthy. And also, there's a knowledge that you can put in place to minimize susceptibility to that misinformation, disinformation, and much of that knowledge is generated by science.
You know, I think a lot of the social media platforms and a lot of this information and disinformation that's out there, we react to it because it appeals to something in us, right? Because it validates a viewpoint that we might already have. It might create a sense of community and a sense of belonging. Oh, those are my people, they're speaking my language, you know, they're saying the things I want to hear. And being uncomfortable is not a space any of us likes to be in.
A lot of the research that I've seen shows that probably the least effective way to counteract disinformation is to throw more scientific evidence at people who don't believe the efficacy of vaccines, of sort of other kind of scientific solutions that the reality of climate change, things that we see out there. But it's much more effective to find people who they trust, to go and talk to them about why it is that I believe this vision of the world or whatever it is. So thinking about how we identify those kind of trusted messengers, rebuild the social fabric that we need to have people be able to talk to other people they trust to spread the kind of information that we want, I think is a big strategy that we've been exploring.
And so we have to learn how to challenge ourselves and each other, and learn how to be calm when we're challenged so that we are not reacting in a knee-jerk way to something that challenges our worldview, but responding, that we can really carefully hear what the other person is saying and then respond to that armed with something like factual knowledge, but then bringing your own perspectives into it and sort of really engaging in some sort of healthy debate.